Hi there. Thank you so much for being here. I was wondering if you could introduce yourself and tell us how you came to this work.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, my name is Yekang. I'm an associate professor of landscape architecture at the University of Oregon. And so I started this work since 2019 with my colleagues and students at the University of Oregon. And we developed this new initiative called Landscape for Humanity to tackle the homelessness in our town, especially related to climate injustice that they are experiencing. So our goal was to use landscape as a medium and as a fundamental framework for creating spatial change that supports social and environmental justice. So since we are in the university working with students and working with the community, we wanted to do this work through design, research, and real-world projects. So since then, we have been closely working with, especially unhoused population, because in 2019, Eugene recorded the highest homeless population per capita in the nation. So as we already see many unhoused people around the Eugene, so this issue has been pretty significant in our town and across the nation. So we started thinking about what would be the role of landscape architects to help addressing these issues through our approach. So your question about how the houselessness related to climate justice. As you can imagine, those people who don't have homes, they're the most vulnerable people in terms of a lot of climate threats like heat waves or flooding, because they don't have any protection, like a basic protection like homes or proper clothing or enough food. And and as you can also imagine, they have the smallest carbon footprints because they don't really use a lot of energy and electricity for their living, but they have to bear this disproportionate burden of the climate change. So that would be the one aspect of how climate justice is very significant, especially around the unhoused population. And if you have read the concept of equity, you will see these three tenets of climate justice. So the first, we can usually think of this distributional justice issue, which means that the benefits and burdens of certain development need to be fairly distributed. So for example, the unhoused population where they live, usually there is lack of green space or trees, have a lot of don't have enough vegetation. They usually live in a very like a concrete like asphalt, like a parking lots, like temporary lots. And so they are very exposed to much more climate risk than regular other lay people. So that's one aspect of distributional injustice that they're experiencing. And in addition to that, there are two other tenets: procedural justice, which is about whether this decision-making process is accessible to all, but most of the unhoused people are not accessible for this kind of decision-making process. And the third, the recognition justice, is about how the voices and value of a certain group is respected and incorporated in the decision making. And that's or again, those voices from the unhoused people are not really reflected in the local decision making process in terms of planting trees or increasing green spaces. So that's something that we can think of how the climate justice is related to unhoused situation. And in addition to climate change, we have experienced this very unprecedented pandemic situation. So this really worsened the issues because they during the pandemic, we have even more increased population of unhoused people in Eugene and across the world. And also with maybe you may remember our the worst wildfire that we have experienced. Those unhoused people are just, you know, clearly exposed to this hazardous air quality because there's no protection for that. So yeah, these kind of examples can be maybe my answer about how unhoused populations face more climate injustice.
Thank you so much.